What's up guys, my name's TC and welcome to the very first installment of a series I'm going to call Comic Curiosity. In this series, I will be revisiting some older comic book story arcs that I think non-readers might be curious about. Now I will never spoil the ending to any of the books I mentioned, but there will be light spoilers in terms of the epic moments that I believe will get you guys hyped and wanting to go out and read the actual comic book. Alright, now that we got that out of the way, let's go ahead and kick this series off with a story that most 90s kids are going to be very familiar with, and that's Marvel vs. DC, or DC vs. Marvel, Showdown of the Century. That's right guys, we're over here fantasizing and hoping for one day we'll get a Marvel vs. DC movie, but back in 1996, they couldn't even agree on whose name should come first as the official title, so they rotated names for each book. It's a little ridiculous, but whatever. Cue it up, Heath.
And here we go.
So let me take you back to a time where the Incredible Hulk wore a white tank top, channeling his inner Donkey Kong Jr. We had Hook Hand Aquaman, Mullet Superman, and oh, that rebellious circle glasses wearing little punk everyone loved to hate, yes, even more than Damian Wayne, Superboy. This Marvel DC series had a bunch of epic matchups that nerds like us still debate about today. We often refer to this series as a source when we're trying to prove an argument, but we're quickly reminded that about half of the matchups were determined by the fans, so essentially it was just one huge giant popularity vote. Nonetheless, the matchups are what made this book great. Superman versus the Hulk, Batman versus Captain America, Flash versus Quicksilver. These were all dream fantasy matchups that people had been clamoring to see for years. I mean, now think about it. I desperately want to see Ben Affleck's Batman in hand-to-hand combat with Chris Evans as Captain America. How awesome would that be? DC, Marvel, please make this happen. Now the overall story of why the Marvel and DC universes were battling is pretty underwhelming. I can sum it up for you real quickly. There were two godlike brothers who personify both the Marvel and DC universe, and they all of a sudden became aware of each other's existence and pretty much decided to have their champions battle. The winning universe would become the only universe, and the other one would cease to exist. But you guys aren't going to love this series because of the plot, but because of the moments, the interactions, and the battles. There are some epic moments throughout these 4 books, and I'm going to share with you a couple of my favorite ones right now. Now there's a panel where Bane's thinking he's going to break Captain America's back in the same fashion he broke Batman's. You have Wolverine and Gambit end up stealing the Batmobile in a very funny panel. Ben Reilly, who is the Spider-Man at the time, hits on Lois Lane and Superman walks up behind him and he kind of cowers in fear and he's like apologizing, "Hey, sorry man, I didn't know," and it's freaking hilarious. Not to mention the moment when Shazam and Thor both pay respect to their gods before battling, and who can forget the moment when Darkseid meets Thanos for the first time. Now this series is famous for creating one of the most memorable and fun universes ever. Now I said I wouldn't spoil the ending, so I'm not going to. Marvel vs. DC, or DC vs. Marvel, whatever you want to call it, Showdown of the Century is definitely a series that every comic book fan should pick up and read. I will leave an affiliate link in the description down below if you wish to buy it through Amazon. If you liked this video and you want to see more, please hit that thumbs up and subscribe to this channel. If you have any suggestions on comic book story arcs that you're curious about and you want to see this type of video for, leave them in the comment section down below. And also, I want to hear your favorite moments or your favorite parts or panels from this comic book down below if you already read it. And let's just discuss the book, you know, your likes and dislikes and things like that. And as always, keep theorizing, geeks.